continue with Tigers Roar. Now, last segment, I told you for the first time in the 9-year history of this program, we had information about the LSU Law School Barristers Bowl. Well, for the first time in 9 years of this program, we're going to talk some lacrosse with you. And yes, this is the very first time I've ever held a lacrosse ball. I was a college baseball pitcher, so I've held many a baseball, but this is the first time. I want to welcome to the set the guy who's in his second year as head coach of the LSU Lacrosse team, Jeff Echols. Jeff, how are you tonight?
Great, Tommy. Thanks for having me.
Appreciate you taking time to come join us on Tigers Roar. And lacrosse has been around, and I think most sports fans who are addicted to sports channels have probably seen lacrosse at some point on TV, and I have a little knowledge. You know, Duke's pretty good, John Hopkins is pretty good. I got a little info, and I'm sure when you played at A&M, they were pretty good. But for those who are tuned in and really don't know anything about lacrosse or maybe just heard of it, give us the quick, what is lacrosse? What is the game?
Sure. Well, first of all, the history of the game is very fascinating. It was actually credited to the Indians who lived in northern New York and Canada. And it began to kind of flourish really on the East Coast as really kind of a prep school sport. And that's where a lot of people seem to equate mostly that it is. But that's not true. It's actually grown very rapidly across the United States, universities, high schools, and youth all the way. Lacrosse is a game that's played on a field about like a football or a soccer field. 10 players are on the field at a time per team. We actually carry about 35 guys on the roster roughly this year. It's very fast, it's physical. The ball, as you can see there, Tommy, is about the size of a tennis ball, but it's solid rubber. So when my college guys really can shoot it and throw it pretty hard. We've got some guys that could probably push it close to 90 miles an hour when they're shooting their really hard shot. And so it's just a really exciting sport to watch, and that's the reason that we can tell it's growing pretty fast.
Well, one of the most accomplished athletes that football fans are familiar with, Jim Brown, was a very outstanding lacrosse player.
That's a great point, Tommy. A lot of people don't realize that, but Jim Brown actually loved lacrosse more than football, and that's very well documented. He went to Syracuse in the 1950s and played during an unusual time when lacrosse sticks were made of all wood, and the shafts were very short, and Jim Brown was just a man among boys, and he could run down the field and run over guys, and the rules were a little bit different back then. But it's an amazing story, and to this day, he'll tell you it's really his favorite sport.
Well, and you know, we here at Pelican, big supporters of high school sports. We always have been, and I've announced hundreds of high school athletic events on radio and TV. And in the past 5, 6, 7 years, I've heard lacrosse at the high school level in Louisiana and the LHSAA and whatnot. So that tells me it's growing. And it may have came from the TV exposure that started happening here in the South, because lo and behold, we've even had a few runs at hockey here in South Louisiana. Right. And that was just because the television made people more aware of it. But how do you go about getting players to play for the LSU lacrosse team? I mean, what's the recruiting? I mean, is it state of Louisiana? Is it nationwide? And, you know, what is the process? Because not every high school is playing lacrosse.
Right. You're right, Tommy. First of all, there are 3 high schools here in Baton Rouge that play, Catholic High, Dutchtown, and Central. And interestingly enough, tonight, Catholic and Dutchtown are playing each other right now, as a matter of fact, over at Olympia Stadium. But there's about 16 high schools in Louisiana that play lacrosse. A lot more prevalent down in the New Orleans and the Shreveport areas. That's where it started first in Louisiana, and then it's grown here to Baton Rouge. But on my roster of about 35 guys, I would think about 3/4 of my guys are from outside of Louisiana. So I've got guys from Texas, Florida, the Upper East Coast, Colorado, and these kids don't obviously come to LSU to play lacrosse. They come to LSU because of the great university that we are, education-wise, or the SEC background. But what's helping us recruit is the fact that last year was one of the best years LSU's had in lacrosse. We were 8-5. The word's getting out. I probably get 2 or 3 emails a week from kids around the country interested in coming to LSU, and they want to play lacrosse for us. Now, we're a non-scholarship program, but when I talk to a young man about coming to LSU, I want to talk to him about the academics. I want him to choose LSU because he wants to earn a degree here. And then, oh, by the way, we're building a great lacrosse program.
And the lacrosse team is not part of the athletic department. It's a club sport,
correct,
as you would call it. So you're not, you got to raise some of your own monies and whatnot. So talk about that. I mean, you're not knocking on Mr. Oliva's door saying,
right,
where's my piece of the budget?
Well,
and maybe one day, let's hope it happens one day. Come on, Joe, step it up.
Yeah, well, I know Mr. Leva knows about lacrosse, and maybe one day I'll get a chance to talk.
He was at Duke, so
That's right, he was.
He should be very familiar.
Great lacrosse university. But, yeah, our biggest fundraiser, so to speak, is our guys have to pay dues to be on the team, and that's just part of it. And what we talk to these young men about is this is part of your college experience. You know, it's not gigantic, but what it does is every guy, you know, gets a practice uniform, and then it covers his travel, which we have 3 trips, extensive trips this year, as well as hopefully making the playoffs. We do take bus carriers. We have league dues. We have things like that. Now, the university does give us some money, and we appreciate that. And then we do some other fundraisers to try to build our budget out.
Okay, and then now you're in a conference. Talk us about the teams that are in the conference that you play.
Right. It's interesting. We play in an old relationship that LSU started back in the 70s. We play in the Lone Star Alliance, which indicates Texas colleges, and it is because back in the 70s, all the colleges in Texas were playing lacrosse back then, and not many in the SEC. So we're in a conference with University of Texas, Texas A&M, SMU, TCU. The conference is large enough to split it between a north and a south, so we're required to play the southern teams as part of our schedule. Now, this year, I tried to expand the schedule a little bit, and we are playing some more traditional SEC football schools. And as we'll probably chat in a minute, we've had the chance to already open with 2 games against Texas A&M and Ole Miss.
And you won both of those.
We did. We played well this past weekend. We played A&M on Friday night and won 19-11. Great game. And then we hosted Ole Miss the next day and beat them 12-6. Just 2 great perennial schools that have done well, and those were big wins for us.
And your next match is coming up this Saturday against Auburn. Is that at Olympia?
Actually, it's Florida this Saturday.
Florida, okay.
Yeah, we got Florida Saturday at 1 o'clock. And no, we actually moved that game. We're going to be on campus this Saturday. We play on the new UREC fields, which are at River Road, same street that Alex Box Baseball Stadium's on.
I know the fields,
Yep.
yeah.
Play at 1 o'clock on Saturday. And then
that used to be a parking lot for football.
Yeah, it did.
Am I right?
I think you're right. It's right by the Hayfield parking
Right.
lot. Yep, exactly. And then the following Friday night, February 13th, we do host Auburn, also same field.
Okay. Now, you got summer camps. I mean, is there a way to create more interest with the young kids who are at the high school level or even smaller? Is that part of the program?
Yeah, I appreciate that, Tommy, because definitely 4 years ago when I moved here from Houston, and I was fortunate enough to work with Catholic High in their lacrosse program, I started a youth program, and I've had high school kids help me, I've had college kids help me, but a lot of those kids got infected by the lacrosse bug, so to speak. They love the 1 week experience, and they've gone on. And from that camp, a guy named Val Browning started the Mustangs lacrosse program, and it has just flourished. And they have a U11, 13, and 15 teams, and they're traveling to New Orleans, Houston, Shreveport, wherever, and they're playing, and these kids are enjoying it, and they're building their lacrosse skills, and then hopefully a lot of those kids are going to go on and play high school ball.
When I was playing youth sports, it was football, basketball, baseball, and I did all of them and ended up being a baseball guy, but lacrosse was never an option for me growing up in New Orleans as a kid. How did you come to be in the world of lacrosse as a player and now a coach?
Well, it's interesting. I actually went to a smaller school initially to play college football, and I was there for a couple of years, and then I decided I transferred to Texas A&M. And more for academic reasons, and just so happened the guy that I happened to room with was from Baltimore playing for the Texas A&M team. He introduced me to the game, and I went out for the team, and kind of, I guess they say the rest is history. It just it's been a part of my life ever since.
And you were telling me you married a Baton Rouge lady.
I did.
You love it here. I'm sure you've had all the food and the good people, and now it's your second year here, so
right.
I'm sure there have been some hoops for you to jump through, and there's probably more in the future. But getting those kids involved, as you know, that'll be the bloodline of the program, and then just the more the word gets out, and that's one reason when Andrew came to me, I said, hey, let's get it out there. Let's put it out there on the program. And I can tell you, we here at Pelican, both radio and TV, and we'll be happy to help you in any way. I
appreciate it, Tommy. Exposure is one of the key things I wanted to do. It amazes me how many people I meet around Baton Rouge, whatever, cocktail parties or such, and I tell them that I'm affiliated with the lacrosse program, and they say, well, did it just start? And I said, no, actually, we're in our 42nd year.
73.
And, and a lot of people don't realize we've been playing lacrosse that long. But I'm very honored to be a part of LSU's program, and you know, I love being associated with the university, and I love selling the university. I mean, that's part of something. That's part of my recruiting, what I need to do.
Yeah, and so again, for those that haven't been, we got a helmet here,
Yep.
team helmet. It's similar to a football helmet, kind of a cross between football, hockey, baseball, catcher's headgear, and maybe riding a motorbike or a bicycle. Huh? I mean,
Yeah, you'll notice it's a lot
there's a little
lighter.
bit of everything
Yeah.
in there, and this, of course, is the LSU. Got the purple and gold and the LSU logo on one side, number on the uniform on the other. And as you said, there's about 35 guys on the roster,
Yeah.
10 on the field at one time.
10 on the field at the same time. Just for the fans that haven't really seen a game played, there's one goalie. There's 3 guys that play defense, staying on their end the whole time, and the other ones that play with a real long sticks, a 6-foot. 3 midfielders that go back and forth, and we have to have multiple lines of midfielders because they run all the time, and then 3 offensive guys or attackmen. One of the things I was going to mention, Tommy, is that the 2 sticks that are out there, and people
Yeah.
are maybe looking at those on TV, but kind of what you're looking at there real quick.
Grab it. There you
Yeah,
go.
this one right here.
You get that one, I'll grab
Yeah, this one, this has a pocket on it that is really the common pocket. It's a mesh pocket that's a one piece that's actually woven all the way around into the plastic head. This is the really the all-weather stick that the guys at the high school and college level play with. It's much easier to take care of and that sort of thing. The stick you're holding is actually my stick. They call it kind of an old man stick because you'll notice it has 4 leathers that are woven into it, and it's actually much more reminiscent and close to the way the Indians played. They wove the leathers into it, and then the gold and purple lacings are woven back and forth to form the pocket. Now, I still play with this stick because it's what I learned how to play with, but I think it gives a truer feel to the game. So I thought I'd kind of bring both to demonstrate.
We got old school, new school in
Exactly.
lacrosse already. And
Old
again,
school, new school.
This is the first time I've ever held a lacrosse ball. It's hard rubber. It's, you know, I mean, I've held a million baseballs. It's smaller than a baseball, weighs more than a baseball.
Right.
Are they all white? Excuse my dumb question.
Well, no, for the men's game play with the white, and interestingly enough, the women play with the yellow ball.
Kind of like softball. Huh?
Well, maybe it is, and there's really no difference in the weight or size of the balls. It's just, I can't tell you the history of why the women have the yellow ball. Someone out there is probably answering that question right now, but the men play with the white and the women play with the yellow.
Give out your social media stuff. I know I recently connected with you guys on Twitter. Tell the folks how they can connect on Twitter, anything else, social media, where they can grab a website or a schedule. You got that information?
Yeah, the first thing I wanted to say is we have a young man that is keeping up with our Facebook site. It's LSU Lacrosse on Facebook, and he is doing an outstanding job. His name's Bobby Peretta, and Bobby's putting posts on there constantly. There's pictures, there's blurbs, it's interactive. He's asking people to interface. He started a little series about 2 weeks ago, Meet the Tigers, and every few days he puts 4 pictures up of current players and a little blurb about them. We do have a new website as well. It's easy to find us, just lsulacrosse.wix. That'll take you right to it. The last thing I'd love to show real quick, if we can get this on the camera, this is our new poster with our schedule. You'll be seeing those kind of around town. We're going to try to get these up in some of the eating establishments and such. And we do play 15 games this year. We've played 2 so far, 13 to go, a few more home games. We'll be playing 2 games actually in New Orleans this year. The University of Miami and South Carolina are going to play us at Pan Am Stadium. That's the first week in March. And so that kind of covers all of our social media.
I got a question for you. I just thought about it as we're talking. Is it 5 years to play 4 eligibility-wise, like in sports governed by the NCAA, or what are y'all's deal on that angle?
Okay. We don't have 5 years to play 4, interestingly enough, in regard to club, but we are very, very strict about 4 years of eligibility. Now, the difference with the NCAA, a guy could come play for us for 2 years, want to finish his undergrad, focus on academics, still has 2 years of eligibility, could come back 3 years later and play those 2. So that we don't, but we are very strict about a player can only play 4 years of Men's Collegiate Lacrosse Association. That's our NCAA.
If a guy plays football 4 years, be it at LSU or wherever, can then he go play 4 years of lacrosse?
Now that is an interesting question. I
got the wheels turning.
Yeah, you do. And actually, I'm going to have to pass on that one, on the eligibility. I'm not real sure. I think from a lacrosse standpoint, it is strictly about lacrosse and not other varsity sports.
And if a guy goes to work when he gets out of high school and he begins his academic career at age 25, 26, he could still go play lacrosse for 4 years.
He can, and we actually have a young man on our team, a senior captain this year, Daniel Ryan, did very similar, the same thing. He came to me last year with about 2 years of collegiate academics left, transferred to LSU, had not really played any college lacrosse, and we brought him in. And Daniel, I hope if you're watching the show right now, you don't mind me mentioning your age, but I think Daniel's 26 and on our roster, and he's having a great career. He's one of our captains.
Well, Jeff, we appreciate you being here. Again, LSU Lacrosse Facebook page. It's on Twitter, and lsulacrosse.wix, W-I-X, would be the website that you can go check it out. You can get their schedule, look for the schedule cards, and check out some lacrosse. I must admit I've never been to a lacrosse game, but I'm thinking I'm going to have to do that.
Well, we'd love to have you, Tommy, and I certainly appreciate you again having me on your show. Thank you.
It's not a problem, and keep Andrew and I and keep everybody here at Pelican posted on what you guys are doing. We'll be happy to help.
Great. Hope we get a lot of people to come out and watch us play.
All right, that's Jeff Echols, second-year coach. LSU Lacrosse has been around since 1973. You got to get with the program out there and check it out. We're going to take a break. When we come back, we'll be rejoined on the set by Chris Landry of LandryFootball.com. More LSU signing day talk and conversation. Still got to talk about that Super Bowl game that got played the other day. Plenty more to come. Stay with us right here on Tigers Roar on Pelican Sports TV, Baton Rouge, Lafayette, New Orleans, and on the internet at PelicanSportsTV.com. We'll be right back.